When we look at the overall picture, what we see is that ADHD makes up the largest piece of that, with about 1 in every 10 children in the United States being diagnosed with ADHD. We see that learning disabilities, dyslexia, processing disorders make up another 15 to 20%, dyslexia being the largest segment of that. And then we look at autism as actually the smallest, where it's estimated that it's 1%, but like in South Korea, they thought it was 1%, and then when they did the study, they found out it was actually 3%. So what we see is that this altogether makes up about somewhere around 15 to 20% of children in the United States that now have a diagnosable disability. That's about 1 in 5. And it seems to be increasing. It's not slowing down or stabilizing. In fact, recent statistics show that these disorders, especially autism, is increasing around 17 to 20% per year. And it's increasing at an alarming rate. So this represents around 20 million children right now. And contrary to popular belief, most of the experts actually believe that these disorders are actually under-recognized, not over-diagnosed as many people claim. So there's probably actually more people. Most of these children qualify for schools for special ed services. And so when we look at the numbers, we're talking about, like I said, roughly 20 million children. But if it's increasing at about 20% per year, that means in 5 years that'll be double. So that means we're looking at 40 million children. In 10 years, we're looking at doubling again at about 80 million children. And that if it doesn't increase at an accelerated rate, which many people believe. When we look at the costs that are associated with it, that's dramatic. We know that recent government statistics show that the average family of a child with ADHD is spending somewhere around $15,000 a year to maintain that problem with direct and indirect medical costs. We see that families with autistic children can spend around $30,000 on average. And I've seen a wide range. I've seen people that have spent a couple of $100,000 and people that spend very little. But even if you're only doing medication, that can be a few $1,000s a year. So we see that for the average family that has a child with a disability, that it can be economically a great burden. In fact, what has been shown is that in most families that have a child with a disability, like ADHD, that child is actually their single largest cost. It's more than their mortgage payment. So that's a huge burden on our families. What we also see is that in our school systems, when we have a child that qualifies for special ed services, that costs the school district probably somewhere between $60,000 to $80,000 per child per year. Actually, New Jersey has one of the highest rates in the cost for children with special ed. Some of it is as high as $110,000 per child per year. Now, who pays for that? The taxpayers, right? So not just families with children with disabilities, but everybody bears the burden of that cost. What we also see now, which is alarming because we can't afford this anymore, is we see that special ed services are the first things to be cut in most K through 12 programs across the country. And everywhere I go, I see that these programs are being decimated, that they can't keep up with this avalanche of children that is being funneled their way, and they're overwhelmed. The teachers are working hard, but they're understaffed, they're underpaid, they don't have the resources, and there's too many children. The OTs, the PTs that are working in the school systems, I hear everywhere I go how overwhelmed they are. I was in Minnesota a couple of months ago, and a woman came up to me. She was an OT. She had read my book. She was really great, and she said, you know, I'm in a school system right now where my national organization says I shouldn't have more than 55 cases at a time. I have 75 cases, and I have a little room. I have a little closet, literally a closet that they converted into an OT room. And I have the child for an hour a week. What am I going to do with this child? How am I going to keep up with this? I can't do it. So, you know, she was happy that there were other people in the community with the Brain Balance Center coming in that could help share the load. And that's really what we're all about. We know that healthcare systems are also completely overwhelmed. Doctors have less time to spend with children, and you know, they're not going to make more effort to understand this. They're just going to prescribe medication, that's it, because that's all they really have time and what they're getting paid to do. So they're not going to be a solution anytime soon. The education systems are overwhelmed. Parents are giving less resources and less answers, and that's where Brain Balance comes in. What we believe is that we can make a difference. We believe, as you do, that your children are special, and that people may tell you that there's no hope. We have parents that come in that have been told to put their children in institutions. We believe, as you do, that we can do better, that we can get them better, and that we can change them. And we've been doing it. We're not just talking it, we're doing it. We're doing it all over the country, working with thousands of children and thousands of families. We believe that one organization can make a difference, and that relationship in your family that's being torn apart by behavioral problems or other issues, that that relationship is the most sacred of all relationships in the family, between the child and their parent. And we want to restore that. We want to give you hope. We know that we can do more, and that's what we're all about. And we've attracted other people that believe what we believe and that are doing the same. And so we show it every day.